Hi, this is The Humans We Are with Carola, episode number 14. Hello, my beautiful human friends. I hope you're doing amazing today. If you're new to the show, I want to welcome you and tell you that you are in the right place if you want to start relating to yourself in a more loving, kind, and productive way. I'm going to share a story with you, and if this story resonates with you, make sure you listen until the end, because I am going to share my favorite secret hack when it comes to using this very scarce resource. So I was sitting on the couch in the living room. My kids were there too. Of course, the two pups and the two kittens were there as well, because they're always where the humans are. And we were all cozy with our blankets, and on the screen, one of the Minions movies. See, I had decided that I wanted to spend more time with the kids, and I really wanted to be more present with them, because over the pandemic, since I work from home, they had gotten used to me being in the house, but not being really there for them. I could see how that was confusing and frustrating to them. Like, I was there so close physically in my office, which is like the next room, but I wasn't available to them. And I wanted that to change. I really wanted to spend more time together. And I am making air quotes because technically I was spending all my time here in the house, but you get what I mean. Like, I wanted to be more present with them. If you've ever been in a similar position, maybe you too have decided to make this a priority and to make time for it. It's not always easy, but we do it because it's important. So the kids were super happy about me planning and blocking on my calendar time to watch a movie with them. And they were really loving this particular movie. You know, like when kids can be so focused on something that really interests them, like they were captivated. And at one point, they both let out a big laugh and they looked at me, kind of like when you want to share the fun of the moment. And I hadn't even caught it. Under my blanket, I had unlocked my phone and I was ordering groceries online. Okay, if I have to be honest, maybe I was scrolling on Instagram. I felt so much shame, like I was letting them down, because my body was there, but I wasn't having the experience with them. I wasn't connecting with them. We weren't bonding. I had set aside the time. I blocked it on my calendar, but I wasn't really there emotionally or energetically. And that's when it dawned on me that time is not really the most valuable resource that we have. It's our attention. And I started seeing all the ways and all the places where I was doing the same thing, like all the times that I was physically there, but mentally, emotionally, energetically, I really wasn't. I was somewhere else. Like, I was driving them to school and I was mentally going over all the meetings that I had that day. And maybe they pointed out a cute dog on the sidewalk and I missed it. Or maybe I was cooking them dinner and they came in the kitchen to talk to me about something, and I was listening to an audiobook or a podcast with my headphones on, and sometimes I even motion them like agreeing or like saying yes, like making as if I was interacting with them, but I was just like wishing them to just go away. And I also noticed something really interesting. Like, my brain wanted to defend why I was in the right to be paying attention to those other things. Like, of course, while you're in the car driving them to school, you need to be mentally rehearsing the presentation you have to do later that morning. Or, of course, you want to listen to a podcast while you do the dishes because you only have very limited time to do that. So if any of this resonates with you, first of all, please, for the love of all that's holy, don't beat yourself up. That's not going to help anyone. It's just a waste of life, really. And second, it's not about whether it's right or wrong to focus your attention on whatever you have been focusing your attention on. It's about choosing intentionally what you want to be focusing on purpose. For me, when watching that movie, even if my brain wanted to present it as valid or important to do something else, for me to be mentally somewhere else, what I really, really wanted was to be there with my kids, with all of my senses. Even if that wasn't a movie that I would have personally chosen for me, I really wanted to share that time, that moment, that experience with them. The vast majority of the times that I am driving them to school, I want to be there with them, talking, singing, bonding, not just being the driver and focusing my attention on whatever, right? Attention is our most valuable resource, not time. And the problem with attention is that most of us have never really learned to use it intentionally. And that's why some of us have the attention of a puppy, really. I could be watching a movie and all of a sudden my brain goes like, oh, don't forget to buy milk. And the puppy is like, yeah, right, okay. So I open the app on my phone and then I see a notification on WhatsApp and there goes the puppy because I opened that app and then I see that my mom had asked me a question earlier and I said I was going to get back to her later, but I had forgotten. And then I hear my kids laugh at whatever happened in the movie and I didn't catch it. If this has happened to you, a part of you may want to make it mean that there's something wrong with you or that you're a bad mom. And that part is a normal part that most of us have inside, but it's not the truth. The fact is that I have not practiced focusing my attention enough. I get very easily distracted, and not only when I'm trying to spend quality time with the kids. If you're like me, it could happen when you're watching a movie alone or reading a book or with my partner, having a conversation. Sometimes my mind wanders to like the dentist appointment or whatever. It also happens to me when I am working, like I am preparing a webinar or a presentation and my mind goes anywhere. So even during this episode, I've been distracted more times than I have kept track of. An untrained mind, in the absence of intentional leadership, it will jump from one thing to another and will rest on things that aren't necessarily what you wanted to focus on at a given moment. And it probably happens to the people around you too. It happens to all of us. And when you realize that it's normal and that it's not because of a lack of love or care, it's just because none of us have been taught how to train our attention to focus it on whatever we intended to focus on and how to deal with interruptions, even when the interruptions come from inside our own minds. It helps to not judge other people, like when you're with someone that you love and you can tell that their attention is not really there. If you realize that that's the same thing that happens to you, it can make it much easier or accessible to extend them more acceptance and empathy and not make it mean that there's something wrong with them or that they are slighting you in any way, shape, or form. So this is not about making anyone feel bad, especially not you. If you find that you sometimes wanted to be present with your kids or with your partner or even with your work and you get easily distracted, there's nothing wrong with you. It's only a sign that you have a normal mind. So it's not about making you feel bad. It's about helping you decide how important it is to you to train your mind and your attention to focus on purpose on what you wanted to focus on. Because that is the good news, that you can train your mind and your attention to do what you want it to. You are not at the mercy of whatever habits of thinking you've unintentionally picked up so far in life. But it's a process. So as a process, it will take some time, some patience, kindness with yourself, and intention. But the quality of your life is composed of the quality of the moments in your life. So the more you can use your time and your attention intentionally, the better your life will be. And to be clear, it's not about being perfect. It's not about paying attention 100% of the time. That's not possible. But it's about choosing what you want to be fully present for and practicing being present there. If you meditate, you're ahead of the game because in meditation, that's what we practice. We practice focusing on our attention. So, my favorite secret hack that I want to share with you today is this. So, next time you're doing something that you want to be present to, either by yourself or with others, you're going to say this. For the next amount of time, so you're going to fill in that blank with the amount of time, I am going to pay attention to this and only this until it ends or until I'm done. So for example, I could say, for the next 90 minutes, I'm going to pay attention to this movie and only this movie until it ends. Or if I'm driving them to school, I could say, for the next 20 minutes, I am going to be here with the kids in the car until I drop them off. Or if I am alone working on a presentation or something, I could say, for the next hour, I am going to focus on this presentation and only this presentation until the hour is up. You will catch your attention wandering. That's not a problem. You will probably get distracted many times. Of course, that will happen because you haven't trained your mind before. So when you do notice that you got distracted, gently bring your attention back and repeat your statement. For the next X amount of time, I'm going to focus on X, whatever you were focusing on, until the time is up or until I finish. Avoid falling into the trap of self-judgment or beating yourself up. That would only keep you away from the present moment for longer. Just drop whatever you find yourself thinking about or doing and gently come back. Focusing on the present moment is not easy, but it's a skill. It doesn't come naturally for most of us, but we can practice. Every time you realize what's happening, it's an opportunity to gently bring yourself back again to what you wanted to focus on purpose. Okay, if you want to figure out how to do this yourself so you can be more present in your own life and you don't have regrets later in the future, I have openings for one-on-one coaching at this time, so reach out to carolafuertes@gmail.com or just go to my bio on Instagram where I am at Fuertes Carola and schedule a conversation to explore one-on-one coaching. I'd love to talk with you and answer all your questions and help you decide if this may be the missing piece that you were looking for. If this content helps you, please help me spread the word. There are two main things that you can do that will only take a couple of minutes. One is share this episode with one person you love and you think could benefit from it. And do it now. Like you're thinking about it now, just do it now, because if you leave it for later, you will forget most likely. And then the second is go to Apple or Spotify and leave a rating and an honest review. I truly appreciate those of you who have done it, and it really helps the algorithms. Okay, that is all for now. I will be back next week. In the meantime, just notice when your mind wants to be distracted and be kind and gentle with yourself and practice refocusing on what you wanted to focus on purpose. I'll be back next week. That's all for now, my lovely humans. Bye bye.